Sonic Frontiers DE, the way you're nuts, I see. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Case today, and only today, we are here to talk about, that's right, Sonic Central Potential. All right, we've got more rumors, things to have about, so as always, lay down, chill out, come here, let's hang out, and we got some things to yap about. And also, guys, please, we are damn near 80K subscribers. Thank you for all the love. Let's get that shit to 90K, 100K, and go crazy. There's two major stories I want to talk about. Well, one major, one is kind of whatever, but it'll lead us to a yap session. Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition. One of the biggest things when talking about the game, for those of you that don't know, Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition is a leak that has been going on for a while now for Sonic Frontiers. We don't know the nature of it. We just know that it has been rated, which means it is real. It is ready to ship out. And yeah, it's just titled Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition. Now, for the longest time, right, we had felt like it potentially was a Switch 2 edition because whenever it was leaking on retail sites, all we've seen are Switch 2 retail leakings. Well, that is now a clear-cut no. That is this update is going to be for every platform. The reason we know this now is because back end on Steam, the game literally about 3 days ago had a store update. So you can see here that, you know, they had some asset changes, so it says Sonic Frontiers is a groundbreaking open zone. They changed the description a little bit, you know, and they also made the base game $40. So they actually lowered the price of the game already, you know, without really telling anybody. So yeah, this at least thankfully debunks the Sonic Frontiers being only a Switch 2 thing, which for me makes me really happy because, like, you know, when I was scared or saw that like it was only leaking on retails on Switch, I was like, is this just gonna be like, you know, the Switch edition plays like the PS5 edition, which of course would be nice, but I feel as though like calling it Definitive Edition when I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff they could do, you know, would hit a little bit harder on everything. Now, we still here face the same dilemma, the same thing. Definitive Edition is the most vague term of all time, right? A deadass could be just quality of life fixes. It could be the talking flower talking to me back there. But it also just could be, you know, a whole new island, the whole new expansion, could be new modes. You know, Sega is not new to making. Yeah, it's funny. People act like it's a big thing. It's like we're gonna act like Sonic Adventure 2 didn't get Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, or that Sonic Adventure didn't get Sonic Adventure DX, right? You know, or you know that Sonic Mania and Origins didn't get their own plus versions. Like Sega is not new to making like a new edition of their game with some new stuff or some big changes. So I expect the same thing to be like this for Frontiers. Frontiers is a, you know, what's so interesting about this is Frontiers is like an old game now. You know, this is like, I mean, this game is about to be 4 years old this year, which I know sounds crazy. I know you just like, you know, a part of your body died, but it's a pretty old game. And not obviously, you know what I mean, not old, but like it's been a few years. And so it is interesting to think like, all right, you are going back to this game a few years later. What do you do with the Definitive Edition? You know, is it genuinely just everything's packed in with a costume or two? Are you using this as a Bowser's Fury almost, you know, with like how Nintendo did it for, you know, 3D World, where, you know, they repackaged it with some new content, but at the same time, Sonic Frontiers already got new content. I don't know. But here's the thing. Sonic Frontiers got free content, never necessarily got paid content. And so obviously with this price cut here, I don't know what kind of payment we're going to be going with. Is it going to be, this is a free upgrade if you have the game already? Is it going to be, listen, I think they want some more money out of you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at the end of the day, they're probably going to want some dollars out of you. I'm guessing this potentially, I feel like a $10 upgrade I could live with. You know, I feel like if it, I mean, to be fair, okay, yeah, I cover this for a living. So for me, like, you know, I would have bought it if I had to anyway. But I think for most people, I think a $10 to $15 expansion, right, of some kind of some new updates and stuff is probably possible. I assume it'll be the case of like, there's a free update for the quality of life fixes, and then it's a little bit more money out there, you know, for the, you know, for the people that want a little bit more meat out of the game, and maybe it's going to give us a teaser of what's to come next. It's potentially, could even potentially be like a prequel to what's to come or something, but either way, I just wonder how they're going to handle this. And again, this, I don't know, man, let me tell you something, right? and this is going to tie into the next story we have. I really do think Frontiers DE is going to be announced before, you know, June. I just think like the game's already been rated. You're already going straight up into the Steam page and changing the price. Like you're making significant like things that to me feel like this is pre-Summer Games Fest. And also like, I don't know, I feel like Summer Games Fest is where you announce new things. And I feel like it would be a little off for Summer Games Fest to just, you know, announce a definitive edition of a game that's a few years old in the main stage. I feel like this is something that's more for the fans. So I feel like we're all either going to be Nintendo, where we wake up one morning and this just exists, or they're going to announce a Sonic Central soon. Now, this ties into this that I read. Now, I want you guys to just listen to this and not really take this part, but I'll read it out. So Sonic City here says, rumor, reliable sources close to Sonic City have tipped that a new Sonic Central will be announced for Sonic's anniversary month. The presentation is said to be around 1 hour long and feature game announcements and upcoming collaborations. As always, take this with a massive pinch of salt, which I agree with that last part. I think you should take this with a massive pinch of salt. This rumor is way too vague to be real, which means like even if this did happen, I don't think it would be, oh, these guys called it, because it's just way too vague. There's not a single concrete like confident thing in this rumor besides it being 1 hour long, you know, which like, okay, if it is 1 hour long, then maybe they had something going for it. But it's weird to see like a leak like this or rumor with not a single like extra additive bonus. That being said, right, tying to what I was saying before about Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition, you know, now having its Steam page updated and being rated, it looks like something is coming. You know what I mean? And I do think, right, here's my thing. I do feel as though Sega and Sonic Team have not really started the anniversary yet, if I'm being honest with you, right? It feels like, you know, we've gotten some merch, we've gotten these social media postings, right, of going through the eras of Sonic, right? But we haven't really gotten that big push yet. You can also tell what they're doing because as you've known, you know, if you've been paying attention to the socials, every month they've been going down by an era of Sonic, right? You know, they went from the 2020s first to the 2010s to the 2000s, and now they are celebrating the 90s, right? And these campaigns have lasted about a few weeks, and it just feels like everything is very much leading up to, and now the future of Sonic, right? That's kind of what it feels like it's going back to, because the 90s is the last era they have to celebrate. And I doubt they're going to stay on this 90s layout for an entire month. You know what I mean? Because each of the layouts they've kept have lasted about a few weeks. And so I would be shocked if this lasts until like basically June in Sonic's birthday. I think this is going to be done way before that. I have a feeling that, you know, if they have a Central, whichever, it's probably going to be around end of May or early June, before the birthday, before Summer Games Fest. Now, Sonic Centrals are so interesting because, you know, it's been a minute since the last one. The last one we had was in 2024, the fall. We didn't have one last year, which was interesting because, you know, they've had one for every year, but I can respect it. You know, I can respect that, like, hey, if we got nothing to say, we ain't gonna say anything, which I can respect. But I do think there's value in a Sonic Central. I mean, the last one was also pretty lengthy, right? This one was about, what was it, 27 minutes long, which is a decent amount of time for a presentation about, you know, a singular franchise. And I do feel as though with this being the 35th anniversary and how much they're pushing, we're going to see a lot of announcements. It's funny, I was actually looking back on my YouTube, and the last time we talked about a Sonic Central was 10 months ago. So we are almost about a year since I last yapped about the potential of a Sonic Central. So I figured today we would sit down with each other and talk a little bit more about it, what we could see, what potential, you know, things we could get out of it. Because again, first and foremost, I think, now I know a lot of you are banking on Summer Games Fest, right? But I just think because of how Sonic is, right, you know, and how much they're probably doing this year, they probably can't fit everything they want in, you know, the Summer Games Fest. They're not gonna have all their announcements at Summer Games Fest because there's a lot of things with Sonic going on that they need to talk about. Like, for example, right, when you think of Sonic Crossroads, right, Sonic Racing Crossroads, we have the last 3 free characters that still need to be shown, right? You know, because Arle comes out, I believe, this week or actually next week, because right now they're running a Legends competition. So I do think, you know, or Arale, is that her name, Arale or Arle? Whichever, Arle. Arlette from Puyo Puyo. You know, she's coming out, which means they got to talk soon about what is the next free wave of Sonic characters, including, I feel like, potentially free content to the game. I do think that's one thing the game is missing is we know TMNT is coming and we know Avatar is coming, right? But I do think, you know, we need to get the announcement soon of something, whether it's, I think, free tracks. I think it's time. Right, I think it's time for a, you know, Dompa Pass or a Sonic Adventure Pass or a Sonic Legacy Pass where they add new crossworlds and new tracks to the game, just sort of add to the experience. I do think the game needs more crossroads, right? I feel like that's the big one is like, hey, add some more crossroads in there because, yeah, all the DLC so far has given you a free track, but we haven't gotten new crossroads. So some of the ones we have in there are starting to obviously, you know, not show their age, but, you know, we gotten through them a lot. So would be nice to get some new crossroads in there. Obviously, we have this game, Sonic Rumble, that they showed off last year that I'm sure they're going to show a bit more of. There is a card game they have called Sonic Blitz. If you remember, we demoed it like a year ago, where they said, you know, the Twitter account said that officially they might have news for it soon. So that got people speculating about a potential Sonic Central. You've got stuff like the IDW games, and you've just got the logic of, you know, they probably want to have a game or a thing out this year. Now, I'm with you guys. I do not think, I no longer am in the camp that the mainline Sonic game comes out this year. I just think it doesn't make sense. I think if they were going to do that, they would have announced that very early in the year and gotten all their marketing beats in. But I still, listen, I still think we are going to get 3 major announcements throughout, you know, a potential Sonic Central of some kind, right? I think one, we're gonna get the announcement of a spin-off, right? I don't know what kind of nature it would be. I feel like, you know, whether it's fighting game, you know, platform action, you know, another game like Murder of Sonic, whatever. I feel as though like another spin-off is probably likely. I think a remaster, I think we're due for another remaster of some kind. Now, what will that be? I don't know, but it would be weird to go with a Sonic anniversary without some kind of, you know, past acknowledgement. I still think it is a little bit crazy, you know, just a little bit, that, you know, the Nintendo Switch and other consoles don't have access to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I know they said that when they bring those back, they want them to be big deals, but I assure you that no one would be pissed if, like, you know, worked with Nintendo to put, you know, on Nintendo Switch Online Sonic Adventure Director's Cut, you know, and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle at least on GameCube, NSO, or whichever, right? So that's like one that I just feel like is like an obvious one. I feel like a remaster or even just a basic port of some kind is probably happening this year, right? And, you know, we got to talk about Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition, right? We literally know that's real. So it's straight up just about when, right, they announced that. And it seems like that might be an anniversary drop. You know, they deadass just might drop that stuff on the anniversary of the game release day-wise. I'm not sure when it's coming out. We don't have like a date or anything, but it does feel like that might deadass be a drop around that date. So yeah, fingers crossed for that potentially going down. But also at the same time, right, new game, right, the next mainline Sonic game. You know, here's my thing, right? I remember Izuka and the team said that they don't want to do like an extremely early announcement for this hype cycle because they don't want to keep people waiting like crazy. But I do think it is I would be shocked if we didn't get the next Sonic game announcer. Whether it's straight up just, you know, Sonic running in front of the screen with a new model, whether it is, you know, Sonic blah is in development, whether it's a CG teaser, like, I think they will, at the very least, in some capacity, reveal the next mainline Sonic game, right? I think that's my, like, big hope and predictions, that I really do think, like, boom, next Sonic game will be unveiled here and it'll go crazy. And also, you know, you have this picture of Chow Tales. I do think we're also going to get a potential announcement of an animated special, right? I would be shocked if they didn't. I mean, they've been pretty on point about doing some animated specials, and I feel as though going the entire 35th anniversary 35th anniversary without one wouldn't make a lot of sense. Now, I'm sure they'll show all their other stuff like their Roblox games and all this stuff, right? Like Sonic has been on a roll with collabing. You know, they're right now running an F1 collab during the weekend. Again, they have this Roblox game. They have all the ones that they have in Fall Guys. They have the ones, not Fall Guys, in Five Guys, in Crossroads. You know, the crossovers you have in Crossroads itself. You have crossovers in Monkey Ball and everything. Like, there is so much Sonic stuff in everything, you know, to the point where some people get upset about it, but I really don't, because, you know, Sonic is a family friendly brand. At the end of the day, it's easy to work with. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna see Sonic in a bunch of games, I'm sure, for Sega, whatever's coming up. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of crossover collaborations and potential. And so yeah, I'm just curious to see what is going to be the new hook, you know, because like I said, in my opinion, I feel like we haven't truly started the anniversary yet. You know, we've gotten some things, we've gotten some social media marketing, but the true 35th anniversary has not begun yet. And I know some people are upset about that, but I'm like, guys, like, are we forgetting that Nintendo didn't even start like the Mario 40th anniversary campaign until like September? Like, it was literally the September Direct, when it was Mario's actual anniversary, where they started actually talking about Mario's 40th anniversary and doing the stuff for it. And I assume it's going to be the same for Sonic. You know, they're actually going to start the anniversary content around the, you know, anniversary date. So I really do think this next month is about to be crazy for Sonic. I really think we are going to be seeing a lot. Now, you know, at the same time, right, we all want them to make sure that Sonic is in an amazing place, right? And obviously they want to start cross-movie marketing. So, I mean, dude, that movie, less than a year away, guys. I mean, can you think about that? Like, we are in May right now. We are now in the... we're about 9 months away from the next Sonic movie, which means we're about 5 months away from the trailer. So we're getting there. You know, they probably want to start that cross marketing soon, you know, start getting the game announcements ready so that in the fall when they show the trailer, people are hyped, and then that leads to people being hyped for the movie, which ultimately leads to people being hyped for the mainline game. We are about to see a massive recreation of 2022. You know how 2022 was like, you know, Sonic movie into what's it called? Into, you know, Sonic Frontiers, into the spin-offs, into everything. I also think we are due for a new Sonic series, right? I think it's been a minute since Sonic Prime. I feel like they may be ready for a series, whether it's, you know, going to be a YouTube series or, you know, a Netflix series or whatever. I do think it is time for a Sonic show of some kind. I think they are going to do something, whether it's a limited, you know, 6 to 8 episode run, potentially an anime style, or potentially, you know, something smaller. Even I could see them do a Lego show at this point with how much they love collaborating with them. I feel as though that's going to be one of the major announcements we get this year, right? Because I think I think we are entering that next phase of Sonic where, like, all right, it's time. Let's get all the marketing wheels together. We want our remaster, our new game, our new show, our new movie, right? Everything, and it's about to be like insane. We're all tying it with the 35th anniversary merch and all this stuff. Like, I think it's going to be quite crazy. You know what I mean? I think we're about to see some massive potential man stuff going on over here with the franchise, right? So, you know, we just need a little bit more patience, right? But it's coming, you know what I mean? Like, we're almost there, right? It's just about what they're gonna do with it. It would be awesome if we got like an animated movie too. That would be unbelievable. Could you imagine like one of their major announcements is one of those, like something crazy like that? That would be awesome. And I still think, you know, we still need to know what this event movie is. They might potentially announce that soon. And my biggest curiosity comes from the fact that, like, are we about to see the Amy and Metal like everywhere. Like that's my biggest curiosity, is like the same way we got Shadow, Year of Shadow. I don't think we're getting Year of Amy and Metal because we have Year of the 35th anniversary, but I wonder if they are going to emphasize and push those characters a lot because of the movie. You know, I wonder if like a lot of the Sonic Central is going to be, you know, Amy being playable in something, right? If it's gonna have a Metal Sonic boss fight, like I think, you know, that's my thing, is like I feel like they have a lot of potential they have with Metal Sonic. But man, yeah, it's funny we talk about this so much. I'm getting myself excited just because we are near that time. You know what I mean? I'm waiting, man. I've been waiting for like that next wave of signings. You know, the last few months we've been kind of like doing our best to yap about everything that we can, but it's gonna hit different, you know what I mean? It's gonna hit different this time around when we get to this potential Sonic Central. And I hope they do have a Sonic Central. That's my biggest thing, is like, you know, the same way Nintendo's been bothering me lately with the lack of Nintendo Directs, right? I feel as though they are not doing the best in the regard of, you know, doing Nintendo Directs, but it's like, I feel like I want a Sonic Central, you know, like when you do your own presentation, it makes me feel like you yourself feel more important, right? As a series, it means you have a slew of things to say, but at the same time, I can respect if it's like, all right, we got nothing to say. But you know, I do want the next Central to be a big deal, right? You know, let it be sure merch, have your stuff in there, but at the same time, give me games, give me animations, give me the things we really want to see. You know, give me a little segment about the movie, give me, you know, Izuka and the team reliving some past memories about the series, right? Anniversaries are about, you know, living the past, even though we want Sonic to, you know, funnily enough, move on. But yeah, I just want some cool things. I would even love an updated art book. It's been a minute since they've dropped a art book for Sonic since the last anniversary, so I would take a new one with never before seen concept art. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to yap about this. I got myself really excited about it when I saw this news, and yeah, man, let me know, obviously, in the comment section below what you want to see from a potential Sonic, you know, Central coming up soon. And yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. You guys are the best. I love you. And of course, I will see you all next time. Peace out.